Hello everyone, this is Glenda Winkleman and welcome back to Creative Grandma. I wanted to do another quick and easy stitch of the week since I'm running a little behind on that. This stitch is called the moss stitch, and yes, believe it or not, there's two different moss stitches. The one they use in pulling, which is a single crochet, chain one, skip the next chain, single crochet, and this isn't it. This is a beautiful textured stitch called the moss stitch that I just came across. It's super easy. It's only a 2-row repeat and it's a very beautiful stitch. Now this sample here that I'm showing, this is a beautiful sample of the Premier Yarns puzzle yarn in the color acoustic, however you say it, 1050-09. Beautiful coloring of blue grays, blues, a real light green, white, and blue. Very pretty. This sample's a little longer because I thought this is so pretty I might make this into a scarf for winter. So this is my classic white, and you can see the textured going across. And then I also did changing colors every 2 rows. This is done with white and pink, and I changed rows every 2 rows. So what you're going to need for this pattern, I'm just going to use white yarn because I'm working on a wood background. So you're going to need a worsted weight yarn, color of your choice, and a size 10J or 6mm hook. So grab your yarn, grab your hook, and you're going to need to make a chain of 26. So get your chain 26 ready, and I'll be right back to show you how to do this amazing stitch. I have my chain 26 ready. Now our foundation row, our first row, is our base row. So rows 2 and 3 will be our repeat rows. For this pattern, we're going to skip this first chain and we're going to work a slip stitch in the second chain. So insert your hook into that second chain, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on your hook. This is just a basic repeat of a slip stitch and a half double crochet. So the next stitch we're going to work a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, insert it into that next chain, yarn over the hook, pull it through the chain. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 3 loops, and you just made your first half double crochet. So for this base row, our repeat starts with the half double crochet, and then we're going to work a slip stitch in our next chain. So insert into the next chain, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on the hook. So that is just your simple repeat. So we're going to work a half double crochet in the next chain, slip stitch in the next chain, half double crochet in the next chain, slip stitch in the next chain, and you're just going to repeat that across. I'll show you one more time. We're going to work a half double crochet in this next chain, yarn over the hook, insert it into that next chain, yarn over the hook, pull it through the chain. 3 loops on hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 3 loops. You're going to slip stitch into the next chain, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on your hook. So go ahead and repeat that across. Half double crochet in the next chain, slip stitch in the next. I'll meet you at the end of row 1, where you end with a slip stitch in the last chain. I'm over to the end of row 1, and this is kind of what your work should look like, but I wanted to bring to your attention, we started with the slip stitch in the beginning of the row, so you're going to end with a slip stitch. So I worked my last half double crochet, and then I'm going to end with a slip stitch into that last chain. So whatever you start with is what you end with this pattern. You start with a slip stitch, you end with a slip stitch. You start with a half double crochet, you end with a half double crochet. So for row 2, all we're going to do is alternate what we did. If we worked a slip stitch, then we're going to work a half double crochet and a slip stitch and a half double crochet, and we're going to continue that across. So we're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work. So it's a little hard to see where your stitches are when you're looking at it on the back. So what I do is I slightly turn it, and you're going to look for your little heart-shaped loops up here, and that's how you tell where your stitches are. So we chained one. So when you turn that work, you're going to really focus on this chain one. So make sure you do not go in that chain one stitch. You're going to go in this next stitch here. So because we ended with a slip stitch, we're going to work a half double crochet in this stitch. So yarn over the hook, you're going to skip this chain one space, and you're going to go in to that next stitch and work a half double crochet. The next stitch, you'll work a slip stitch. Turn your work, look for that stitch, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on your hook. The next stitch will be a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, and if you don't know where the stitch is, turn it, look for the top of that stitch, go under those 2 loops, yarn over the hook, pull it through, 3 loops on hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through 3 loops. So say you're working across your row and you kind of say, okay, I don't remember where I was. All you do is take your hook out of your yarn and pull that stitch apart. You'll see the 3 loops. You know that's your half double crochet. So that was your slip stitch. I'm just going to remake that half double crochet real quickly. We already made it. Whoops. So when you're working this pattern, sometimes even I get going across there pretty quick, and then you kind of have to double check yourself. Okay, so we're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch. And because we started with a half double crochet, our repeat pattern will be the slip stitch and then a half double crochet, because whatever you start with, you'll end with. So go ahead and repeat that across. Slip stitch in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next. I'll meet you at the last stitch where you should end with a half double crochet into that last stitch. I'm over at the end of row 2, and sometimes it's hard to see where your stitch is, so you're just going to have to try to turn your work and look for those last 2 curves on your stitch. So we started with a half double crochet, we're going to end with a half double crochet, so look for that little 2 loops that kind of look like a heart, yarn over the hook, insert your hook under those 2 loops. Okay, for some reason I'm having trouble. There we go. Yarn over the hook, pull it through those stitches, yarn over the hook, and pull through 3 loops on your hook. This is the end of row 2. This is the back of your work, and that's what your work should look like. So for row 3, it's the opposite of what you did. You're going to put a slip stitch in your half double crochet and a half double crochet in your slip stitch. We ended with a half double crochet, so we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work. Now remember, skip this chain 1 space and you're going to work into that next space. So we're going to work a slip stitch. Insert your hook into that first stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on your hook. Whatever stitch you start with, slip stitch in row 3, you're going to end with a slip stitch at the end of this row. You're going to work a half double crochet into this next stitch, yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, 3 loops on hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through those 3 loops on your hook. Now this is the beginning of your repeat. You're going to work a half double crochet and then a slip stitch in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next. So insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on your hook. That was your first repeat. I'll show you one more time. So the repeat is half double crochet in the next stitch, yarn over the hook, insert it into the next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, 3 loops on hook, yarn over the hook, pull it through 3 loops, slip stitch into the next stitch, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. Pull it through all loops on hook, sorry about that. And that is your repeat. So work the repeat across and you'll work a slip stitch in the last stitch across, and I'll meet you at the end of row 3. I'm at the end of row 3 and I'm getting ready to do my last stitch. I started with the slip stitch. I'm going to end with the slip stitch. So insert your hook into that last stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on your hook. So this is what your work should look like. Rows 2 and 3 are your repeat rows for your pattern. So let me grab my samples again. This is the white one, and you can see how you get that ridging on the white when you repeat that pattern. This is the pink and white one. You can see it a little bit better on here. And then this is my blue that I'm making out of that self striping. It just creates a beautiful, beautiful texture. Now I do have to say that I'm videotaping from my mom's house, so the pattern for this, the instructions, will be delayed and will be on my website Monday or Tuesday of this week. So please bear with me with that. I'm trying to get the stitches to you. This again is the moss stitch. It's pattern number 233, and the pattern will be available Monday or Tuesday on www.creativegrandma.net. Thank you, everybody. I hope you liked this quick and easy stitch, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Happy crocheting, everyone!